Hey everyone, how you going? Unfortunately, last couple of weeks on the Jayco page, we've had quite a few people um, pop their lifting arms. Unfortunately, so that can happen for a lot of reasons, um, and one of those is basically the bottom lifting arm, which is the large arm. This one here. Okay, sometimes it doesn't raise up straight away. So what you end up with is the smaller lifting arm or the smaller tube goes up first, and then that sometimes putting pressure on the lower arm, and it's popping this small plastic retaining clip here that goes around the larger part of the lifting arm. Now sometimes that can be because they're grabbing because they're too dry, they haven't been lubricated, and sometimes you may be on a slight slope. Okay, so again the roof is leaning to one side, which then jams the larger lifting arm, right? And then instead of continue going up, it's grabbing the small retaining clip here and then popping out of that clip. And the other reason too is perhaps at some stage, you might have been in real windy conditions or something like that, and you might have put a bend in the smaller lifting arm there. All right, again, creating that the lifting arm to grab, again putting pressure on that small retaining clip. All right, there's not a lot that's holding this lifting arm into that clip. Basically, there's two little dimples, for want of a better term, that actually holds to stop that larger lifting arm lifting out of that little retaining clip. And of course the other one is overwinding. Okay, all right, so you're putting too much pressure on the cord here, righto, which is an indicator, all right, to tell you when to stop winding. All right, and that can happen too. In general, okay, the handover that you get when you buy a new van, okay, or buy a second-hand van from the Jayco, the handovers are quite good, but there's a lot of people out there buying second-hand vans, and I dare say, a lot of those people, they probably don't get a handover at all, okay, so they're driving away with, into the unknown in some cases, okay. Now, of course, I'll come out here, I've wound the old girl up, and the arms went up perfectly because that's Murphy's Law. But when we were coming back home here, I'd quite had a couple of times that the little arms went up first, and I had to lift the big arms by hand. So I'm obviously I'm a bit restricted by the garage here, but I'm pretty around that height, that sort of halfway mark, which at this point you would stop, go a walk around, all right, or have your travel buddy do a walk around, and just make sure that those larger lifting arms, all right, have come up to their full extent, all right, because if that small arm grabs, all right, it'll pull the large arm with it and then pull it out of the retainer, all right, and we've seen a couple of those cases over the last couple of weeks. So what I've done is I've obviously cheated and I've pulled this arm down a little bit, all right, so all you have to do is now at this point, so you've got enough room to bring this large arm to its full extent if it hasn't done so under its own accord, all right. Now, normally this is a two-handed job, all right, because you really need to be really careful, right, and not be too forceful when you pull them up, because you want to feel that stop when it hits the small retainer, all right. So I'll attempt that with one hand. All right, and there it goes, all right, and you'll feel it stop. All right, and it'll almost become really loose, and you won't hear that grating over the springs. That grating you hear is the inside the arm there, slipping over the ribs that are on the spring, okay, which is a large spring that's in all four corners, and that spring is to assist the lifting of the roof, okay. It's the actual cables and the pulleys that are lifting, right, and that cable inside there, right, that you'll see popped out when people have dramas. And that's what that sound is when you lift it up. But when you get to that stopping point, you'll hear that. Plus, I haven't lifted it all the way up, so the springs, is stopped at some point, all right, until we get going again. right? And you'll feel it, and you'll even see that little clip. I'll push that down there. You'll even see it lift a little bit. All right. So be very careful, because if you put too much force, then the same thing's going to happen, is you're going to pull it out of the retaining clip. So yeah, you check all four, right, and then go ahead and then complete your winding up. All right, keeping an eye on your indicator. All right, your indicator it shouldn't be taut, right, to like a piano string. All right, it should be still a little bit of play in it. If you've got that too tight, a good indicator is when you bring your door down and sort your door out, you'll know, because there'll be a gap at the top and it won't quite look right. Okay, and that's an indicator that you've gone too tight on your indicator. So the main thing is, righto, keep them lubricated, righto, and be very mindful that if you do have to lift them up by hand, then just go easy, all right? Otherwise you're going to pop that clip out. Okay, that's all well and good, but sometimes it's just bad luck, all right? So if you have that case, let's say this one here, let's say it has come out, all right? The best thing you can do, all right, is get two burly blokes to lift that corner up, all right? And this is where a step ladder helps, all right, or some sort of whether you're in the back of the ute or whatever. Lift that up and get that corner as close to the other three corners as possible, all right? Get someone else to keep winding up, all right, if it's the case, because what you need to do is you need to get that spring back inside that big lifting arm, right, and then get it back into its keeper, all right, and then from there you should be able to then either prop it and complete your camping, right, or lower the roof and then and get it to a repairer or get it home. Okay, but yeah, you need to lift that corner and you need to get that spring in. Now if you've kinked that spring, put a serious kink in it, all right, you'll need to replace that spring, because it'll never sit down in its guides inside, right? It'll never sit properly. It'll just want to kink up all the time, right? And then obviously look at replacing your clip. Sometimes when they pop, you don't even actually break the clip. It's just a matter of that arm has come out of the clip, and sometimes that clip will still be okay. But look at your spring, righto. If you find that it won't wind down after you've even got that back in, righto, then you need to get inside, righto, and sort out the spring inside, because it may have completely come out of its track or jammed in its track, righto, and that's preventing it from coming down. All right. So at that stage, you could probably, if that's affecting you getting the roof down and getting it to a place where you can repair it, right, then you may even have to remove that spring, right, and then obviously you have the two big fellas support that corner as it comes down, right, because it won't be under spring tension, so it'll be very heavy, and it'll want to collapse down, right, lower than the other three corners. Listen, I hope that helps, guys, and because I hate when I see those pictures, because that means someone's weekend or someone's trips, it's been ruined basically. And for the uninitiated, it's very stressful, okay? Especially when you've got young kids and that, you're stressed, kids are stressed, your weekend's gone, and so I hope this goes some way in to try and prevent that from occurring to you anyway. But like I said, sometimes it's just pure bad luck. People get on there and go, "Oh, you wound up too high." Well, in a lot of cases, that's not right. Okay, it's probably one of those factors that we spoke about earlier in the video. So anyway, I hope it helps, guys, and I hope it doesn't happen to you. But hopefully, this will bring you some confidence in getting yourself sorted. Right, so you bring your stress levels down, and you can go and get it sorted out. Thanks very much, guys, and I hope everyone has a great Australia long weekend as well. Thanks, bye.